Hello everyone, this is my SSH presentation for my ISA 4220 class. This is being done on, obviously you see March 23rd, 2024. So let us begin. So here's the table of contents of everything I'm going to talk about. After this, the first one will be what is OpenSSH, which is, the program that we're going to be using and configuring in our Linux server for this class. Then I will next tell you about my first hardening recommendation. Then that will be my second hardening recommendation. Then after that, my third hardening recommendation. And then finally, my conclusion. So let's get right into it. So what is OpenSSH? So the Secure Shell or SSH protocol is a method for securely sending commands to a computer over a unsecured network. SSH uses cryptography to authenticate and encrypt connections between devices. SSH also allows for tunneling or port forwarding, which is when data packets are able to cross networks that they would not otherwise be able to cross. SSH is often used for controlling servers remotely and for managing infrastructure and for transferring files. Alright, so this is going to be my first hardening recommendation for our Linux servers, which we use Ubuntu, an Ubuntu Linux server. Okay, so the first one would be to disable root access. So disable root access, you would use this code sudo, which runs as root user. So you would do sudo vi /etc/ssh/sshd_config, which is config. Then you would change the permit root login value to no. And then another option is allowing the root user to log in using an authentication mechanism other than a password. To do this, you would set the permit root login parameter to prohibit passwords. And then to make sure that this goes through, you would use the sudo command, which runs it as a root again. You would use systemctl restart, and then you would use sshd, which basically reboots that program so it adds the configurations that you made to it. The next hardening recommendation, well, this is the second hardening recommendation. So the second hardening recommendation would be to restrict the shell of a user. So to create a new user with the you would use to create a new user with the no login shell, you would use the following command, which would use that sudo command, which, as we stated before, is to run as a root or a administrator, a high level administrator. You use sudo add user space dash shell /usr /sbin /no login space, and here you would use whatever username you want to use, whether it be Alex or Sammy or Troop or whatever person you're giving you're adding to this Linux server. Then you would use the next command, sudo user mod --shell /usr /sbin /no login and Sammy. So that would be the moderator of the shell, I believe. Then you use the command sudo space nano space /etc/ssh/sshd_config. So there are two configuration options that you can implement together to create a tightly restricted SFTP only user account. So it'd be force command internal -sftp and the chroot directory. So this command would pop after the config file open, you would type in the match user, which you would use Alex, and then use force command internal -sftp, and then you would use the chroot directory space /home/Alex/. Then you use after you enter that, you use the command sudo sshd space -t, and then to configure it to this program, you have to reload. So you use the sudo systemctl reload space sshd.service, so that it configures to the server that you have added. It configures to the server, so now I can implement it. The next one would be my third and last hardening recommendation, which would be to implement an IP address allow list. So this was pretty long, but you can use IP address allow list to limit the users who are authorized to log into your server on a per IP address basis. In this step, you will configure an IP allow list for your open SSH server. So you can identify the IP addresses that you're currently connected to your server by using the W command, which is you use $, and W. And next, to start the process of doing the allow list, you would use the sudo nano /etc/ssh/sshd_config. Then you restrict all users to a specific IP address. So you would allow users at this, which is your IP address, which would be whatever your IP address is for that server. This one is *203.0.113.1. And then to restrict all users to a specific IP address range using a class list inter domain routing or CIDR notation, you would allow users at the same IP address, except you would add 24 at the end to allow 24 IP addresses to continue. Next, to restrict all users to a specific IP address range using wildcards, you would use this allow users command at the IP of 203.0.113, and that's how you do that. Next is to restrict all users to multiple specific IP addresses and ranges. So you'd use allow users, and you'd go from whatever range your IPs range in. So this one is 203.0.113.1 to 203.0.1132 to 192.0.2.0/24. And the last one is 172.16, and then star for that means all, and then 0.1. And then you would disallow all users except for the named users from specific IP addresses. So you would allow users Sammy, which IP is 203.0.113.1, and then also Alex at 203.0.113.2. And then you would restrict a specific user to specific IP addresses while continuing to allow all other users to log in without restrictions. So you would match user Ashley and then allow users and Ashley and give her IP address, which would be 203.0.113.1, and then use the command sudo ssh-t, and then to make sure this is implemented, you would use the command sudo systemctl reload sshd.service. Okay. In conclusion, in the essence of securing SSH is essential for maintaining the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity of data transmitted over networks. It is a fundamental component of overall network security, especially in environments where remote access and data transmission are prevalent. And that is my presentation on SSH and the Linux Ubuntu server. Thank you and have a good day.